Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I'd like to discuss what is emerging as the most likely action Rachel Reeves will take if her fiscal headroom is still gone when she has to finalise the budget next month. And unlike the view of the clickbait news, it's not cuts. But first, for daily political commentary, please hit the subscribe button to stay notified. So, although Rachel Reeves has detailed her budget last October, it doesn't come into force until April, at the start of the tax year. That means it has to undergo a final pass next month. Because the economy is in such a hole, the very tight fiscal headroom that Rachel Reeves had at the end of October no longer exists technically right now. Now, in the next few weeks, some may come back, it may not. So the Chancellor is having to work on a plan B for what to do if the headroom is gone when the final decision has to be announced. And Reeves essentially has three options. The first, and by far and away the least likely, is that she abandons the fiscal rule which states that borrowing has to come down as a share of GDP over the next 5 years. Labour have thrown so much political capital behind this policy, there is no credible way they will break it now. Besides, if they do break it, they risk a trust-style reaction in the gilt market. Second option is to cut some of her spending plans to meet the fiscal rule on borrowing. However, the budget Reeves announced last autumn included a level of public investment which, relative to the state of the economy, has not been seen in my lifetime in this country. Reeves has made clear that the way the economy grows is through that investment in infrastructure. So she also knows that cutting back on her investment plans means hampering economic growth more than Labour are already having to do so. So that's not a great option, although it wouldn't contradict any promises. The third option is to further raise taxes in some way. Now, Reeves did promise last November she would not be coming back for more tax rises, so there would be some pressure coming her way if she did that. And there are no other options. Three really bad choices. But as it happens, there is an obvious one, which the Financial Times have been talking about this weekend. But before I go over what it is, let's look at this strategically. Like, put yourself in Rachel Reeves' position. So first of all, that budget that she announced is the one she wants to go with. It has the sort of tax plans that she thinks are fine, the spending plans that she thinks are needed. Now, why might she have to change it at all? Because the 5-year forecast right now says that borrowing will not have fallen as a share of GDP over the next 5 years if she implements that budget exactly as it was announced last October, right? However, as you can imagine, a 5-year economic forecast has a lot of errors in it. The idea that even incredibly clever economists with mad computer skills can forecast the sum total of all transactions inside and with the UK over the next 5 years is crazy. However, we have to have these forecasts in order to have some guardrails against doing something completely insane with the country's finances. But the point is, there is no way that this forecast for what state the UK economy will be in 5 years' time can be reliably accurate to within a few £billion. And yet Reeves has to present her budget as if that forecast is 100% accurate to the nearest penny. And if the headroom is gone next month when she announces her budget, it could be back a few weeks later or a year later. But her budget has to be based on the forecast at the precise moment she announces it. So with that in mind, the ideal solution for Reeves is to announce some change to either taxation or spending to make the figures add up that she will never have to go through, because she will be expecting the economy to be stronger than the current forecast. That means Reeves is not going to cut any spending plans in the short term. That would be mad. She's made clear that the spending is needed to grow the economy. Why would she hit future growth for the sake of a short-term forecast wobble? She could cut some spending for the final year of the budget. That is possible. She could announce the cut to a budget in the 4th or 5th year with the intention of restoring that spending as soon as the forecast looks better. But there's another more obvious solution as put forward in the Financial Times, and something that apparently the Treasury have refused to rule out, meaning they are at least thinking about it. So last March, when the Tories delivered their final budget, they froze income tax thresholds. This meant that in real terms, those thresholds came down, meaning a sort of stealth increase in income tax. And they froze it in place until like 2028. Now, when Reeves delivered her budget last October, she left the freeze in place, but said that after it was over, she would increase those bands in line with inflation, which meant that that freeze on income tax bands, which the Tory press are moaning about at the moment, remains a Tory budget policy. But Reeves could announce that she will keep the freeze in place a bit longer to make sure the OBR report works out, but with the intention that as long as the economy picks up more than is currently forecast, she'll go back to her original plan and raise them again from 2028. It would mean some complaints in the media, but they're going to complain no matter what she does. But it does mean the markets will be happy, so no repeat of the Truss mini-budget reaction. And in reality, it's likely to mean that nothing actually happens at all. Come the election, which is when the public will actually make their judgment, if everything goes to plan, Reeves will never have had to continue with the freeze of income tax bands, which means that what she announces next month will never actually impact anyone in practice. The Tories won't be able to make anything out of it during the election campaign because Reeves will be able to say that, she had it as a contingency plan because of the shabby state the Conservatives left the economy, but because she grew the economy, didn't actually have to implement it. And unlike trying to cut any spending plans, even in the final year of the budget, she's not creating uncertainty for people who may be making business decisions based on those financial plans. It's being described as the ideal solution to the problem. It's a contingency of a contingency, which will probably never be needed. If the headroom comes back next month, Reeves won't have to announce any changes at all. If it's not, then she can announce this and still never intend to implement it as long as the economy is looking better. And the economy doesn't even have to pick up for another 3 years for this to work. And if the economy hasn't picked up in 3 years' time, Reeves is going to have bigger problems than how the Daily Telegraph reacts to a further income tax band freeze. It probably is the most obvious solution, if one has to be applied at all. Announcing a cut to spending plans, even if you don't intend to go through them, risks private investment, compounding the economic problems. Reeves has already announced all the tax rises she's prepared to announce right now, so we won't get any real tax rises. And of course, they're not going to risk chaos in the markets by further mucking about with fiscal rules right now. So that's out the question. So a tax rise that won't actually be a tax rise just to make the fantasy economic forecast add up is the obvious solution. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, please click the like button and subscribe for further content. If you'd like to support the channel further, you click the join button for memberships. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'll see you later.